Today, we pit a £200 gimbal against the £1,000 gimbal. At first glance, this might look like an unfair comparison, but I think you'll be surprised at some of the results we get. So we're pitting the Zhiyun Crane M, coming in at £220, against the DJI Ronin M, coming in at £795. So let's get started with a few basic specs, starting with the weight. The Zhiyun Crane M comes in at 800 grams, and the Ronin M by DJI comes in at just over 2.3 kilograms. So straight away we can see a big difference in the weight, and this is going to play a big part when it comes to filming over long periods of time. In terms of size, it's quite obvious that the Ronin M is bigger, but not as big as you might think. The Crane comes in at 300 by 200, and the Ronin M comes in at 500 by 300. They're both exactly the same height, but the DJI Ronin M comes in a lot wider. This could be a benefit for the Ronin M. For long periods of time, holding with two hands might be more comfortable. This could also be a benefit for the Crane as well, because you can hold it with one hand and it makes the whole build lighter. When it comes to build quality of these gimbals, they're both absolutely superb. The DJI probably takes the edge on it with its carbon fibre touches and a full magnesium body. That's not to take anything away from the Crane, which is fully aluminium with no plastic parts at all. Let's talk about battery life. The Crane boasts a 12-hour runtime with a total of 4,200 mAh and is achieved by using two 3,600 mAh batteries. On the other hand, the DJI Ronin M pales to insignificance with only 3 hours max runtime with a 3,400 mAh lithium polymer battery. We've used both of these gimbals at a wedding before, and the battery life of the Crane has proved to be very successful, outlasting the DJI Ronin M by miles. This is quite impressive considering it still manages to stay below a kilogram. Onto the max payload, and this is where the DJI really starts to shine. Boasting a 4 kilogram payload, it can hold almost anything, all the way up to a fully rigged out red. On top of being able to hold up to 4 kilograms of payload, there is actually no minimum weight for this gimbal, unlike the Crane, which has to have a minimum payload of 125 grams and can only have a maximum payload of 600 grams. Onto ergonomics, and one of the major downfalls of the Zhiyun Crane. Because the Crane only has a 600 gram payload, this makes putting a quick release plate on problematic and not really an option. This means you have to detach and attach the camera manually every time you want to take the camera and put it on a tripod. Really, other than that small gripe, it's really a nice bit of kit to operate. You can hold it easily with one hand, and all the controls are accessible from the back. You've even got a little joystick to pan and tilt. That's something you won't find on the Ronin, without paying an extra £120. The Crane can be a little unnatural to hold at some points. It almost feels like you're holding a pole, and this can be hard if you're trying to get smooth pans and tilts. The DJI Ronin M, on the other hand, is designed for long-term use. It has two handles and feels way more natural to hold. This not only improves stability, but also adds a lot of versatility when it comes to adding accessories, like monitors for instance. And because of course the DJI has a higher payload limit, we've managed to fit a Manfrotto quick release plate on there, so we can easily switch from gimbal to tripod in a matter of seconds. Of course, with all this added versatility and extra handles, the weight does add up and you can easily be carrying around a 10 kilogram rig before you know it. On top of that, the physical size difference can sometimes make it hard to operate in small spaces. If you're getting a tracking shot through a doorway for instance, you're going to really have to tuck your shoulders in to get through. It also doesn't pack away quite as neatly as the Crane. Yeah, you can unscrew all the handles and take the grips off, but there's no neat way of folding that down to fit into a backpack. You can buy an official DJI pack for it, but this is even more money on top of the initial £1,000 outlay. The Crane, on the other hand, comes with its own carry case as part of the price. The balancing procedure for both is pretty much identical. The DJI is made undoubtedly easier by the included stand. However, with the addition of a small tripod or gorilla pod, you get the same effect with the Zhiyun Crane. Here's how long it took me to set up both from scratch. At the end of the day, specs are specs, so we took them out into the real world to get hands on. First up, DJI Ronin M. Just going to do a few simple shots and nothing too complex. Just a straightforward walking shot. I'm going to It's worth mentioning that I'm not doing any special walking techniques here. I'm picking it up as a total beginner. This is where you really start to notice that having two handles can really help you manipulate the gimbal in the way you want. It's quite obvious that the DJI Ronin M is aimed at a more professional market. For instance, it has professional style ports down the side here, so you can add things like D-tap power. It also allows you to remove the top handle and you can attach it to a drone, something that you won't find on the Zhiyun Crane M. This is not to take away from any of the usability though. In fact, both this and the Zhiyun Crane M have mobile apps, so you can adjust things like motor tuning and the speed of pan and tilt. I'm going to go around and get a few more shots of this and see how it performs. So that's the DJI Ronin M. Next up, Zhiyun Crane M. I'm going to start off with a normal walking shot. And of course, the tree shot. And to do shots like this with the Zhiyun Crane, it's not quite as easy as the Ronin. You have to use the joystick to point the camera all the way up. And then if you want that leverage, like the Ronin M, to tilt it this way and turn it around. And of course, the downfall of doing it like this is that you can't see the screen, so you have no idea what you're shooting. So, I've been using this for about 5 minutes now, and what I've noticed immediately is that it's much less strenuous on the arms. Even after using the Ronin M for just 5 minutes, you can feel your arms start to fatigue. It's worth mentioning that on the Zhiyun Crane, there's a USB port on the side which you can buy a cable for that goes into the camera, so you can trigger recording or take photos from the push of a button on the back of the handle. Another thing you can do with the Zhiyun Crane M, which you definitely can't do with the Ronin M, is selfie shots like this. So we've got a good range of shots there. Let's have a look at them back in the studio. So there we go. We thought both of them compared quite similarly in terms of stabilisation. But as always, it's going to depend on your individual circumstances on which one you go for. If you're looking to use the gimbal professionally, it might be better going for the DJI Ronin M. With its professional ports and more options for accessories to be attached, it's definitely more versatile when it comes to being used professionally. If you're just starting out and only going to be doing amateur films, you might be better off going for the Zhiyun Crane M. It's much less expensive and still gets the job done. If you like the content, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. It'd be great to know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.